All right, we're streaming. I had to turn off Alexa. She was talking behind my back. I have a little globe speaker behind my back, and I can turn them on, turn them off with my verbal commands. Big deal, right? Yeah, I know. Merry Christmas. I got everything turning on and turning off. I can turn on the TV on and off. It's a big TV. I can turn on my lamps. I can turn on either lamp, all lamps. Turn everything off. No, don't. Not now. So you can see me over there, just right in the middle. Not a hard right, just a little bit right in the middle. And there we go. There's the camera. Yeah. Up here, you can see the elapsed time, 1 minute 33 seconds. A little slideshow going on over here. Let's turn the brightness up just a little bit. There we go. Now we can see what's going on over there. There you go. Full screen slideshow. Maybe not so full screen. Pull it over there. Now you can see it. Now you can't. Oops. Not too sure how this works. There we go. That works. I got iPads everywhere. Oh, who did I lose? Facebook disappeared. Facebook. I'm going to have to put a message on Facebook that says, go to YouTube. Facebook is unreliable. I'll have a message on there next time. I'm sorry, sports fans. Yeah. Why is that so loud? Sorry. That should be better. Hello. Yeah, there we go. Now we can hear. Gotta be able to hear myself think, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Aside from they play over and over and over again, this business up in Minneapolis. I mean, what a Minnesota. They're like crazy liberal up there. We built a couple of shopping centers up there in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Yeah, a long time ago. 45 years ago, can you believe it? Woo. 40, yeah, it was BM before Maryland. And since we've been in the same place for 45 years, everything BM is older than 45 years ago. When you get to be my age, you have to use landmarks. All right, let's get down to something that actually happened at 10:59 p.m. Mega Millions pulled their numbers. And for January 9th, Friday, this is Saturday, January 10th, at 10:07 a.m. But January 9th At 11 p.m., here's the numbers. 12, 30, 36, 42, 47. And Mega Millions ball, whatever they call that, number 16. There you go. 12, 30, 36, 42, 47. And the yellow ball, 16. All right, I have assembled a little different. Oh, didn't I do a print screen of that? I got all the numbers in there. All right, let's do it live and in color. There we go. There we go. We have our new format here a little bit. Get this down to like 60%. Can I do 60%? There we go. Get that up there in that corner. Print screen. 1, 2, 3. Bingo. It's like a flash photography. But it isn't. There we go. Just get that right there. And bring this down. We don't want to see that. Save to photos. There we go. Close the lottery page out. We've got a spreadsheet that calculates every damn thing. Oh, yeah. There it is. No, that's not it. Where'd it go? Oh, I know why. Because we have to put... There we go. Put one up there. Now we do favorites. There it is. We've added a column. Little tiny enhancements. And the column is Mega Million winning numbers. And for January 13th, which is, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, as you get on the list, I need to, how do we do that? Photos. There we go. Now you can see everything I can see. So complicated. You see, we're splitting the screen. So we're taking a part of this iPad and putting it all up on where you can see. So now I can see what you can see. I see you. The new column is the Mega Million winning numbers column. There it is. This column here, which said something about a ratio, we squeeze that so small we can't hardly see it because it's an irrelevant number that I use to calculate 98,700,000, which would be the lump sum. They didn't really announce that, but I calculated it based on prior Mega Millions lottos. And it's just a tad under 46%. So that's what's in this mysterious column, which, it's a fixed number pretty much. So we just kind of like hid. I can hide that column. I just have to figure out how to hide a column. There's a method of doing that. And I don't know how to hide a column. I'll have to, take that under advisement. legalese for, I don't know how to do it. But anyway, see here, we've got all the prior, I double checked them, all the prior Mega Millions dating back to December 23rd when it rolled over to 100 million. I can't afford to win less than 100 million, so we disregard those little tiny ones. But now, when it hits the 9-digit level, that's nothing wrong with putting 28 million after tax in your pocket. And that has risen now. Good luck. I have good luck in the numbers column because we don't know the numbers yet. We have to wait till January 13th at 10:59 p.m. And then they pick them one by one. And I will put them in that column once I know them. I've highlighted every number in that column in red in this entire row because this hasn't happened yet. The lottery officials have published that they believe that Tuesday's jackpot will be somewhere around 215 million to a single lottery winner. If there was a single lottery winner, if there's two, you just divide that number by 2. If there are 3 winners, you divide it by 3. It can happen. It has. It's hard enough to get 1, but you can have 2 and 3. You got people buying tickets out there all over the place. You got enough ticket buyers, sooner or later, they're going to run out of numbers and they start over again. I'm not too sure how I'm not sure at all, actually, how when you ask for random numbers, if it's truly random, they can pick more than the same number over and over again. Or do they have an equation in there, and that says use up all the numbers before you repeat the numbers? So in theory, you could have a number like 1111111 all the way across, and the Mega Millions ball, the yellow ball, 1. How unlikely would that roll be? It's no more unlikely than any of these other numbers. I don't know what the maximum number is for each of the 5 columns of numbers. I think the number, I believe, because just in looking at them, look at the numbers. The Mega Millions ball. 24 is like the highest number I've seen. Now that doesn't mean it's the highest number, but I haven't seen like a number like 30. So it must be like 24, 25 number balls with the Mega Millions balls. We can ask that question one day. I don't want to do it today, if you don't mind. I will give you the answer on soon. The old 4-letter word soon. Yeah. Anyway, so if 215 million was won by a single winner on January 13th, good luck. That would produce approximately 98.7 million as the lump sum payout before federal tax. We rounded down to the nearest 1,000 or something. And if 37% is the tax, then what's left? 63%. 63 and 37 is 100%. So if Uncle Sam takes 37, then we must have 63 left over, and in that case, that would be 62 million. That's how we came up with that number. It is 63% of 98 million. We got 62 million rounded down to the nearest thousand. Or 100 or something. I see a 300 there, so it must be rounding to the nearest 100. The other numbers in column G1, H, J, K, these numbers are, if you elected, remember we're still in the hypothetical, because we don't know if $215 million will be won by a single ticket holder, because the numbers haven't been picked yet. That's why good luck is in that cell. Last night, the winning numbers were 12, 30, 36, 42, 47, 16. And we have to wait a few days, like 3 days, until we get to Tuesday, when they pick the next winning numbers, and we'll replace the good luck symbol with the actual numbers. And then a few days later, they'll announce if there was a winner or not. So I put a little dot in there to show you that this is all pending. 62 million would be after tax in your checkbook as the lump sum. So you can see when you have a $215 million grand prize, this is in the 30 percentile of, if you divide, let's do a fast calculation. Calculator, please. There we go. What was that number? There we go. Let's bring it down there. Maybe I can even... let's copy it. Calculator, please. Paste it. Allow paste. Yeah, of course. Paste it. Paste it. Never mind. We'll just enter it. 62 181. Come on to me. 181000. That's it. And we're going to divide that by what? 215 million equals times 100, because that's percent. There we go. So the cash, the after tax, amount of 62,181,000 is 28.9% of the grand prize. So just so you know, that's about 29% of that number. In case you want to do a quickie. Yeah. So, and what was the 28.92 to be more exact. So if you know the grand prize estimate, you can figure out the lump sum after tax by just taking 29. 28.921. 28,921. And that'll give you the amount that'll go in your checkbook. That is a big number in your checkbook. I would suggest putting it in several checkbooks, so in case someone hacks your account, they don't run off with all your money. As a matter of fact, I'd take 20% of that. That's 12. Take 10 million of it. Let's take 10 million of it and buy gold. Just go to APMEX. Let's go there. Just pull down on the. Oh, here it is. I have AP. See right in the top there. AP in the dark icon. APMEX. I'm gonna touch it on my iPad. 1, 2, 3. Boing. And there it is. APMEX. I have an outstanding order. I'm just waiting for the big day. And I'm going to go full screen on this if I can. There we go. Full screen. We're going to hit see the little shopping cart, upper right corner, with the number 1 next to it. Pew. There we go. The current value of gold, the current cost per coin is 4,886. And if we were to buy 207 of those, let's 6. If we were to buy 205 of those, that would be $1,073. We're just getting. Yeah, we want to. What would be $1 million order? That'd be 205 coins. Okay. It's 20 coins to, a cylinder, and you get 10 cylinders and 5 coins. Because it's 20 coins in a cylinder. Okay? And that has a nice little weight to it, You have 20 ounces. It's like almost like a couple of pounds. You hold that in your hand and punch someone in the mouth, and they'll have a broken mouth. You might have a couple of broken fingers, but that would be one heavy fist. In the old days, in the movies, the bad guys used to have a roll of dimes in their hand, If you have a bigger hand, grab a cylinder of gold coins. That'd be a modernization of the old punch in the face. It'd be $1 million punch. Yeah. That cylinder is made out of polyethylene, so the chances of it breaking open and having a bunch of coins all over the floor is slim to none. In the old days, the dimes were rolled up in a paper cylinder, which in theory is a little easier to break. We have a bunch of dimes all over the place. So those 20 gold coins would be pretty safe in that polyethylene cylinder. Yeah. Each one of those suckers, 20 of them in there, is almost $5,000. A couple of years ago, it was $1,900. Now it's almost $5,000. I begged all my friends, please buy gold. I don't know. I hope some of you did, because we've been tracking on that gold, and it's gone up like 60-70% in the last year or so. 60% increase in the price of a precious metal? Really? Oh, God. That's like... The people in Egypt are like... the pharaohs are all rolling in their grave. They have all those golden things. So even back, 10,000, 9,000, 8,000 years ago, gold, there was something very special about gold. It is essentially chemically inert. So if you touch it with your skin oils and the salt with your lips or your chest or your, the salt, your perspiration, if you wear a gold chain, for example, it won't tarnish. If it's, high purity. That's why in the olden days they used to make necklaces 18 karat gold, because that has more gold in it than 14 karat. It's 24 carats. And we're not talking about Bugs Bunny carats. We're talking about 24 karat gold is 100% gold. So 12 karat gold would be like 50% gold and 50% other metals. So 14 karat is more than 50% gold, because 12% is 50%. Therefore, 14 karat, divide 14 by 24, and you get, like 58 or something. 14 divided by 24 equals, look at that, 58%. That was right on the money. Yeah. All right, so let's get back. Let's circle back. As Trump says, let's circle back to the Mega Millions numbers here. The projected Mega Millions numbers for Tuesday, the January 3rd edition. So I have them all in red, deep red, reminding everybody. I used to highlight this row in yellow, and I figured, you know what? I already have yellow on the top of the column captions here. So let's just make the numbers red, and we'll substitute them with black numbers when the numbers are actually drawn. So this reminds us that these are not real numbers. The numbers in black up there, they're real numbers. Yeah, rounded to the nearest dollar when you get past column F. So if you were to win the $215 million lottery and elected the annuity feature, where you would get 30 payments over 29 years in one day, because they're going to give you $3,256,059. They're going to give you $3.2 million check or credit to your account. I don't know if they'll do that. I've not won one of these, so I don't actually know if they hand you a check. I know you stand in front of the cameras and you bounce with a check. That's this check. Whoops. Where'd it go? Whoop. That's the $215 million check, which of course you never get, because the lump sum is 98, and you got two choices. You either accept 98 million in your checkbook, and then Uncle Sam takes a hunk out of it, or you got a check for 3.26 million. And then 1 year and 1 day later, you got another 3.397 million. That is 5% greater than 3.2 million, because the lottery rules are you shall be paid 29 payments, and they increase by 5% every year. It's a 5% growing annuity. And we calculate for the initial payment, and you see in that formula, it's a crazy formula, but I have the formula. Yeah, oh, there it is. This is the formula. And you basically solve for S, because S is the first, wait a minute, S is the lottery amount, so you put in there 215, and then G you put in 5%, 0.05. N is 30, because you get 30 payments. So you solve for P. And this is how that translates into what you would put in your spreadsheet in numbers. Numbers. And A1 would be the 215 million divided by this equation right here with triple bracket 1 plus 0.5, making 105%, and to the 30th power minus 1 divided by 0.05. And that would be your initial payment. There you go. To find the first payment, rearrange the formula for P. And then what you put in numbers goes right there. Yep. I did. I got it so that we can understand it. This is how the math begins, by the way. It's a little more complicated. And then you have to combine and get everything on one side of the equation. And, so C equals 100, in this case, in that case, 180 million times R minus 0.05 divided by 1 minus 1 plus 105, 1 plus R to the 30th power. Amazing is that. So therefore S is that, and then you have to solve for P, because we know S is 180 million. And you put the numbers in, and bingo bango, you get the answer. We figured that out. When did we figure that out? Looks like January. No, we had it figured out before January 8th. I think it was like January 6th. Yeah, right here. This is when we figured it out, right here. The lottery was 180 million a few days ago. And there's the formula. I drew an arrow. Yeah. Very nice, huh? Yep, January 5th is when we had that figured out. Then I put it in the spreadsheet. It worked. And then let's see, then we added up all the, where's that? There we go. See, then we add up all the rows, because I did every payment, all 30 payments, including the initial payment and 29 future payments over a 30-year period, 29-year period, actually, because you get the first payment day one. And every payment is increasing by 5%. That's why they're bigger as we go. And after, your 29th payment would be $13 million. Whew, that's not a bad annual income, right? 29 years from now. Who knows with inflation and this and that. At my age, I'd get the lump sum. But you were 25 years old, you might think, you could always take the annuity and go sell it to Wentworth. Remember, Wentworth is the one that'll turn annuities into cash. Yeah, 5 years, let's say you started taking payments under this annuity, and in year 5 you wanted to buy a big house, and you didn't have a lot of cash, although I don't know why you wouldn't. Because remember, you're earning 3.2 million, 3.4 million, 3.5 million, 3.7 million, 3.9 million. Every year, these numbers, so after 5 years, you're making $4 million a year. And then when you get further on in the years, of course, it grows to like 13 million too. That's a pretty big number. Anyway, but we added up all the columns to see, all right, let's add all those up and see if it actually adds up to 215 million. Well, it did. It added up to $215 million and $81. So I carefully have a column caption there which says the difference of the net present value compared to the lottery jackpot. A negative result is a shortage. A positive result is an overpayment. And the results are due to statistical rounding errors because you can't pay someone tenths of a penny. And so if this was the case, and you got $13,320,062, you would have been overpaid $81. So they would reduce, assuming they paid according to what I have in this spreadsheet, which would be pretty close to what they would have been paying. They would have, and if they did make that last payment of $13,062,000, they would have overpaid $81. So they just reduce that 62 by 81, and it would be $13,319,900. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just take $81 out of that last payment. What they say, you have $81 in your pocket? I'll give you $13,320,000. Oh, 62. Give me $81 and we're even. Yeah, it's in red because this hasn't happened yet because they haven't drawn the numbers. There could be like a whole bunch of people buying huge amounts of tickets, and that 215 projected jackpot might go, which rolled over from the prior Tuesday. This is Saturday. The drawing was Friday, right? Tuesday, Friday. Yeah. So Friday's drawing rolled over to next Tuesday. And the lottery people think that jackpot will be around $215 million. And statistically, they can pin that down. Friday, last night, they thought the jackpot was going to be $199 million if someone won it. But no one won it. So now we're at 215. They know how to project. That doesn't mean that's exact, because there could be a whole bunch of people say, you know what, let's buy a whole bunch of Mega Millions tickets. and a whole bunch of people do that for some reason, then, this number would go up. And they would move the number up as soon as they know. The lottery officials would. Because the bigger the number, the more ticket buying. A few weeks ago, it got to billions. Billions and billions. Over $1 billion. And as far as I know, it was over $1 billion to a single winner. And so we waited, so the Mega Millions started over again. I think they start at like maybe 50 million or something. I actually don't know whether it's 30, 40, 50. But, when it got to 100 million, when it got to 9 digits, I looked at myself. I said, "Self, I can afford to win 100 million. Let's go give it a try." So, which of course failed, So we have, there we go. So I just showed a couple of annuity numbers. So in this one, I did a print screen of these columns going to column 7, just to show, what the annuity payments look like, projected, rounded down to the nearest dollar. And if I round it down to the nearest $10 or $100, then this overpayment gets bigger. The swing is bigger. So I rounded it up or down to the nearest dollar. Yeah. In which case, when you add them all up, it was an overpayment of $81. Now I could manually go into this $13 million cell and, because that's an equation. There's an equation in that cell. It's not 13 million. The equation result is 13 million because it's 105% of 12,685,000. So I would just say 105% of that minus $81. And then this figure right here would be 215. Oh. There wouldn't be an overpayment or an underpayment. But I could do that. I'm not going to. I just add them up. It's $81 over. It's an overpayment. And they wouldn't make an overpayment because they reduce that last payment by the $81. Because they can't pay tens of pennies, in these last, each year. And I forget whether I round it up, round it down, or just round it. Oh, gosh. Let's go take a look. You want to take a look? Some people want to take a look. So I'm going to go to lottery chart. There we go. It's opening up. All right. So let's just pick a column right here like this one. And we'll hit this, there we go, round. So it's going to round up or down. It's not rounding up or down, it's rounding. So it depends on the number whether it goes up or down. Times 105% to the nearest dollar. So if it's 58 cents, it goes up 1 tick. If it's 47 cents, or 1 cent or 2 cents or 3 cents, then it just rounds it down. That's those are the formulas. Let's go all the way to the last formula. Hit the cell. Whoops. Touch it again. There we go. We we can see. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry. There we go. See where it says round? Now what I can do is I can edit. Keep on hitting the wrong thing. Minus 81 and hit the check mark. There we go. See, now it shows 0 overpayment or underpayment because we have reduced that last payment to $13,319,981. So you adjust that last payment by the underpayment or overpayment. You'd have to manually do that. If I pointed to the equation part, I think it would be circular and it wouldn't accept it. You want to try it? I'll try it. So instead of minus 81, we're going to say minus... all right, oops. Check mark. Let's go back to where we were. So now we're going to take this cell and we're going to modify the equation minus, and I'm going to touch this 81 and hit check mark, see what happens. See, it comes up with those signals, and it's circular because it doesn't know what that number is. It can't do it because until it knows that number, it doesn't know whether it's $81 higher or lower, whatever. So I have to edit that out because that won't work. But I can manually put in $81 and hit the check mark, and then that'll be, there you go. So you add them all up and you end up with 215 million. Everybody's happy. There's no under or overpayment. And if I copy that entire row down to the next one, then I'd have to edit that equation because this one, is to whatever that number is. I have to erase that number. And we'll do that. That's okay. I could go through that whole column of numbers and, or take this payment right here and reduce it by $9. Take this, reduce it by $19. Reduce this one by $17. Reduce this next one by $26. Add $41 to this because poor guy got underpaid $41. So I could change that to, go right here to there and put in right here plus 41. And then instead of 24,999, but that, hit the check mark. There you go, 125 million. Exactly. So I'd have to manually go through each one of these and add or subtract on that last check so that we don't have over and under payments. So you're telling me we should do that? They're telling me to do it to everything. All right, what's this one? I have to give him, he's overpaid $9. So I got to take away $9 so that we're even. There we go. This one, I have to take away $19 because he's been overpaid. Excuse me. That's a negative sign. And then 19 because he overpaid 19. Hit the green check mark down the bottom right. Ding. There we go. Oops. There, now we have a rounding issue. Oh, I typed the wrong number in here. I thought I came up with something. All right, we got, so now we have to edit this one, and we got to take away $17. Go to the next one, and he's overpaid 26, so we take away 26. This is not exactly, rocket science. It was pretty interesting getting. Did I already do this one? Yeah, I already did the $41. Here we go. He's $21 overpaid, so we got to take away $21. There we go. This is probably a good exercise because we want this last column to be zeros, and we want this column right here. We want that to match the Mega Millions lottery jackpot. The net present value is the sum of all future cash flows, which is those 30 payments. So we sum them up. We've added them, and the net present value is $215. That's exactly what our lottery is. It is $215 as we go all the way. See, I did all the columns every single year, all the way across. Oh, look at all those numbers. There's lots of numbers. But the magic of spreadsheeting and a little logic, we can, there we go, we can look at these things. Yep. Yeah. So now you can see. Now you see what's involved. This cell right here. This is magic. Wait till I hit the. See there with the 3 brackets, and then 1.5 to the 30th power minus 1 divided by, and you got to have the bracket because it's an algebraic equation that goes all the way across in one cell. That's the magic to the entire other 29 rows or columns of numbers. Because this one right here, that's the initial payment. And I can't get all the rest of the payments until I have the initial payment. Now when I go to the next one, look how simple that equation is. 105% of the previous cell. That's pretty easy. Rounded to the nearest dollar. That's what minus 0 means. There are 2 arguments in the rounding parameter. And the first one is the equation, and the equation is cell number F10 times 105, meaning 105%. So the next column is 105% of the previous column. That's what that little equation means. And we're rounding to the nearest dollar. If it's 51 cents, it goes up. If it's 50 cents, I believe it goes up. If it's 49 cents, it goes down. And yeah, I believe it's 50 cents and up is the round up. And 49 cents or less rounds down, just knocks it out. Now, when you do all the compounding and you do that for 30 payments, that's how we had these errors. $81 and $41 and all that. Now we've corrected each one of the last payments so that they didn't get either more or less, than the 215 million or the 199 million, whatever, that they were promised, so to speak, assuming the jackpot was exactly that number. There are rules on how they calculate the 215 when it's actually the numbers are drawn. They round up or round down depending on, what the actual ticket sales are and what percent of the ticket sale goes to the jackpot and what percent of the ticket sale goes to the education fund, or however those mega millions are applied. Yeah. The jackpot doesn't get all of that. There's a rule on that. All right, this is before we adjusted that column. You can see overpayment of $81. We fixed that. We didn't do a print screen. We've dragged you through it. So, all right. So here's, since December 23rd, you can see the actual numbers that were in the that were actually drawn. All these mega $1 million figures were rolled over to the next week or whatever. So it went from Friday to Tuesday. So they expect that $199 million grand prize will roll over to $215 million based on projected jackpot sales, ticket sales. If for some reason or other a whole bunch of people decided not to buy any more tickets, everybody decided to stay home, then the jackpot would stay at $199 million and they'd just draw again. And the jackpot, this red number right here would be 199 or 200. Let's say the ticket sales were terrible and it rolled over, and there weren't a lot of people that bought tickets for some reason, then, it'd be a number less than 215 million. It could be 200 million, 201, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But based on their statistical, information based on a huge amount of prior drawings, they can pluck that number out pretty good. They pretty much know what that is. All right, we have our spreadsheet still open, and I don't like to leave it open because, these cells, they all have, if I change any of these numbers, everything changes all the way across. So I'm real protective of this. Whenever I do major edits to this, I create a new tab up here. Like here's the prior one. See, and we don't have in this one we don't have the draw. We got this percentage column, which is a waste. So I basically shrunk that column to oblivion, so you can't even see anything what's in there. It is a formula. It's a fixed number that you apply to 199 to get to the 91 million for, and it's 45.95%. That's the figure that, based on the current interest rates and so forth, they project that the lump sum pre-tax for a $199 million lottery would be $91 million for. That's what they published. So I looked at all these numbers And I figured, well, what's the ratio between the two? And it's 45.95%. So I just put that percent in, copied that down, and then all the numbers extend across. You know, just have to do the math once. So here we are. So I shrunk that column, as you can see, to where you can't even read it, which is fine because all you're missing out on is the 45.95, which is a fixed number, and who cares? Because what you care about is what's the lump sum number. And that's 98,000,007 projected right now. That's why the numbers are in red. And we don't have the numbers yet, so it says good luck. And we can see that Friday's draw, Friday, January 9th, last night, there's the numbers that were picked. So now I put in the actual numbers, the winning numbers. That makes a whole lot more sense than having that stupid 45% thing in there. So I shrunk that to, I could put that formula right in that, and eliminate that column. But, you can see it's just a real little skinny column there, so who cares? I could, watch this, I can take, it's such a skinny column, let's do an expando on it. All right, let's see if we can get to the column. Can we get to the column? No. Can we get to the column? Where is it? There it is. Wow. I'm on it. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say in the cell, what's the text color? It's going to be white. So if the text color is white and the background is white, you can't see the text. And here, if I can get there, there it is. So the background is yellow, so guess what? We're going to go here and we're going to say the text color is this color yellow. And big O, now you can't see anything in that column at all. There we go. So now we don't have any distractions. Now if I hit the column, if I press the column, let's just do it, and I hit this thing right here, I don't want to do anything with it, I just want to see it. This is making me nuts. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to see that. There is a thing in there. Let's back that up, I guess. Oops. Yeah, we have to undo that because we eliminated its contents. And now I ruined that whole row. I have to That's what that 4595 is. So we can't see what's in there because the text color is the same. I'm not too sure at this point. Yeah, we should be able to see that. Not here, over here. No, this one. This point, 4595. That's what's in every one of those. That's how we get the 98.7. We take this number right here times 4595. Do I see it yet? No, of course not. Oh boy. That's why I hate to louse around with these spreadsheets. Once you get it working, maybe it's because I can't believe because of the font color I can't see the contents of that fixed number, but that must be the reason. All right, let's play. Text color, black. Now, will you show me what's in there? I can see that one. Why can't I see that one? I guess because it's not an equation, it's just a number. Okay, I give up. And I think I'll leave it as something, the text color. We'll just make it a gray color. That color right there. So you can barely see it, we just know that there's a number in there. Copy, paste. There we go. If it was 0, look, I just type 0 and press enter. That 98 million goes away because I need this. Copy, paste, bingo. I need that 4595 to create the lump sum figure. And the lump sum figure gives you the after-tax figure, and and of course this equation jumps forward to the jackpot. Yeah, and then gives you all these other numbers. Yeah, that's see, there's the one where you see the equation. So apparently when you just enter a number, there's no sense in showing the number. It's in the column. You just can't see it because we changed the text color to something other than black. Makes it hard to see. So you can see if I go to, if I do the expando thing, you can see the gray numbers in there. It's 0.494595. Yeah. I'll just copy that number down as we go down. If the lottery comes up, if they publish a lump sum number, I'll plop that in there and just see if that is the same percentage as we've always used. That's... Okay. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, since the spreadsheet, let's go all the way across. And then we got all zeros there. So all these numbers are good. You can see all these numbers they're gradually increasing, right? Because the jackpot is gradually increasing. You just spot check 3, 4, 3, 4, 7, 5, 4, So that looks a reasonable increase across the board. Yeah. So we're going to say we're good. Let's get out of here. Close it up. And this is now print screen. These are pictures. You can't really edit this. You can doodle on it, but you can't. These are not, there's no equations here. It's strictly a print screen of that spreadsheet we just had. Anyway, okay. 2:15 is it. To give you official, there's the official lottery statistics that came through on my official lottery app. See, it says Welcome Jim up there in the corner. I've logged in. This is the Powerball, the Mega Billions, and the Lotto X. And the lottery has jumped to 14 million because apparently no one won that either. Next draw is January 10th. That one picks on Saturday, and I'm not sure what other day. Probably like Wednesday, Saturday. Maybe that's twice a week. Is it Monday, Wednesday, Saturday? I actually don't know. I think I bought a ticket. You would think on the ticket it would say Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, or whatever the draw dates are. Or, yeah, see, Wednesday, Saturday. So for sure it's Wednesday, Saturday. And Mega Millions is Tuesday, Friday. And Powerball is Wednesday, Saturday. So apparently there's not a Sunday one. These things pick twice a week. Wednesday, Saturday, Friday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Saturday for Lotto. No drawings on Sunday, apparently. That's a little bit of a guess, but that's what seems to be what's going on here. Makes sense. No one works on Sunday. That's probably why the Powerball numbers aren't really available, until Monday, because no one's there on Sunday. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I remember when the Powerball got real big and there was a Saturday drawing, you never really heard much out of the lottery people until Monday morning because they're closed up on Sunday. There we go. Now we know why that happened. All right. Powerball, by the way, has increased to 124 million. Mega Millions is 215 million. And the lottery, the Florida Lotto, is at 14 million. Saturday, next drawing is tonight. Yeah. Next drawing is tonight. No one won on Wednesday, so I probably have a ticket in here for tonight's drawing. I think let's take a look. You can hear the tape opening up. My magic envelope here, in which I have, see, I have a couple of lotto tickets. And it's for Saturday the 10th. So, who knows? Maybe we get lucky and win 14 million. I can afford to win 14 million. But remember, you only get about a third of that because Uncle Sam is going to take, I forget how this one works, do they have annuity payments on Lotto? I think they do. So the jackpot is like 45% of that total number, and then you take 67%. It's about a third. You know, so you get about, so you end up with, 4 or 5 million. It's all right. That takes care of retirement. You have $4 or $5 million worth of money. Let's just do some fast math. Let's take $3 million of that $4.5 million. Let's say the after-tax cash payment's $4.5 million. So we'll take 3 of the $4.5 million and put that in a 5% interest-bearing something or other times 0.05. So that would give you $150,000 worth of income, just interest income off the money. So you wouldn't need to live off the principal. All right? And if you just took, let's say you took 2%. Let's say you took 2% of that 3 million, which means it would shrink down to zero in 50 years. That's, we're just real rough math here. So if we said 5 interest plus 2% principal, that's 7%. All right, 3 million times 0.08 equals. In other words, so 5% interest and 3% principal, which means that fund would shrink out, when you keep taking, so you'd make about $240,000 a year for 20 years. Well, when you're 80 plus 20 is 100, how many of us are going to live to 100? I don't know. My cardiologist says you're good to 94. I don't know where he plucked that number, but he circled it. He circled it. And he put it on my charts. He wrote it right down on my charts and put it in there. He says, you're good to 94. Come back in and we'll see what's going on. He saved me, I'll tell you what. Jose, yes, you saved my Jose Ordonez. That name is permanently etched in my mind because if it wasn't for him, I'd be a dead duck. because the head of cardiology of the Boca Raton Regional Hospital wanted to produce they were selling me, him and his buddy was selling me on a procedure that killed a patient 2 days ago. He says, Jimmy, I want you to do this. And Ordonez told me like 6 months ago or a year ago. Now this is like 5-6 years after the fact, because I had my quadruple bypass surgery 6 years ago. 6.5 years ago. This June it'll be my 7th anniversary, I believe. If it wasn't for Jose, I wouldn't have had these 7 years. I'd be a dead duck. But Jose said, we're not going to do that. Jimmy, I don't recommend we do that. The likelihood of you surviving that is not good. I said, oh, well, what do you suggest? I suggest that we do quadruple bypass surgery, that we don't do this experimental whatever the hell he was going to do on these two questionable ones. We're going to go up. I'm going to visit with a cardiologist surgeon in the Delray Medical Center, a gentleman that I know, and I'm going to recommend that he does quadruple bypass surgery. And the two little ones, the little arteries, we use a smaller gauge artery instead of the average gauge artery that they pick up out of the memory glands up there. We just pick a slightly smaller gauge artery and we'll attach that in the bypass. That's what they did. And it worked. Everything healed up. And I was, 2 weeks later, I'm good to go. Otherwise, I'm a dead duck. In Dr. Ordonez's mind. He said, I want you to survive this operation. I says, Dr. Ordonez, that is a good idea. Let's do plan B. I don't like plan A. I don't like plan A because you don't like plan A. And you be the boss. Yeah, this other guy, he ain't going to be my boss. No sirree, Bob. Thanks for the heads up on that one. Yeah. Yes, sir. All right, we're going to do the favorites. Yes, Elon is contemplating his navel. Expand these pictures. There we go, so we can see as big a picture as possible. There we go. A little more. And there you go. That's as big as it goes. Now as I go through these, that's it. Good luck. I filled in the rest of those. Here's one that shows the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the last 6 lotteries. You can see the complete. You can see the last 52. They'll take you back a whole year, and you can go back a whole year, which I didn't bother doing because we started at the 100 million mark. See that? Then it went to 125, 138, 157, 180, 199, and now it's 215. Yep. That's a picture. We can edit that picture. Hit black point. Hit contrast. Turn that up. There you go. Makes the numbers stand out even more. And we can jam up the color here so we can see those yellow balls a little more. There we go. That's it. Now we can see those numbers better. Yeah. I should go back to that. That came off my phone. And I can activate that lottery and go to Mega Millions. Look into that little blue tag there that says, see all of them going back 52. Just, whoops.
It's 11:30.
I'm looking to see how we get there. I guess I'll have to figure it out. Oh, now we got him. Yeah, now we got him. So let's do a print screen there. Then we go up to the next bunch. 90. Print screen. Oops. Check mark. Save the photos. Then print screen. Next bunch of numbers. So this takes me back to October. So apparently the Mega Millions starts at 70 million. This goes 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 138. Yeah, so yeah, see right here is when it starts with the what the jackpot was. So the big winner was December 9, apparently. When it got up to billions or something. Because otherwise it would say 60 million, 50 million, 40 million, but it doesn't. All right, I print screened them all. So, go here. Not favorites. It would be. There we go. It would be recently saved. There we go. And now we're going to select those and make them all favorites. So that way, when we pick favorites, we can see them. There we go. So this takes us from present day, so to speak, to, because the 199 was not reached, takes us back to December 26th, and then there we see that's the $100 million one. December 20, oh, we missed one. So there's 90, 80, 70, boop. That's it. I needed to slide that up one more. All right, I'll do that another time. That was too hard to get to. All right, so now we can see I've highlighted that row in red because this is the good luck row. Meaning we don't know that 215. We don't know if that's someone won that one or not. But if a single winner did win it, he'd walk off with $62 million in his checkbook. Or he'd accept $3.2 million in his checkbook and get these 29 additional payments. He gets that one day one. And then this is next year. So in 1 year and 1 day, he ends up with $6.5 million, $6.6 million, something. That ain't bad for a year and a day. And then a year after that, he gets $3.5 million. A year after that, he gets $3.7 million. You know, in year 4, or the 5th payment. But in year 4, he gets another $4 million, $3.9, and so on. And if we go down to the end of that scenario, the payments increase to like a 10 or 11 million apiece. Nice number. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Talk to you later. The boss lady just got back.